Alright, so today's video is going to be adult corn snake versus baby corn snake care. Now to start off, I'd just like to say that the care for both of them is pretty similar, but there are some important differences which we're going to go over. In my opinion, there are three main differences between adult and baby corn snake care. Now the first main difference, which you can see right here on the screen, is the enclosure size. Down here I have my adult male, his name is Cruz, and up here I have my baby female, her name is Tesla. Now for adults, they need a minimum, this is the bare minimum, of 20 gallons when they are fully grown. Cruz is still not fully grown, so he should be good in here for at least another year. But the minimum for adults is 20 gallons. Now there is no minimum for baby corn snakes, their enclosure size, but you just want to give them an enclosure that's proper to their size. You do not want to scare them and put them into a giant enclosure. So what will happen if you put your baby corn snake into too big of a tank is basically the corn snake will feel very stressed, start to refuse food, and in turn it will lose a lot of weight, and that's just not good. It could also have trouble finding its water dishes, or it just may not feel secure, which will cause unnecessary stress to the animal. So make sure you have an appropriate sized enclosure for your baby or your adult. Now the second main big difference would be the feeding routine. For adults, now the feeding routine for adults should be one appropriate sized feeder per week. So you don't want to overfeed your adults because they can get overweight pretty quickly. So what I mean by appropriate size feeder is you want to make sure the frozen food or whatever you're feeding live or whatever is not 2 times as big as the thickest part of your snake. You want to make sure it's about 1.5 times as big. Now it also does go by weight. I'll put a little chart up here if you do want to use a scale and all that and weigh your animals, but I just go by one appropriate sized feeder per week. And Cruz has been growing pretty well. He's growing steadily, not too fast, not too slow. He's not underweight and he's not overweight. Now for babies, the feeding story is a little different. It's still one appropriate size feeder. Usually for babies, it's going to be pinkies because that's the smallest thing that's available. So one pinky every 4 to 5 days, because they are babies. They are very active. They for sure have a fast metabolism. They're always moving. So they do need just a little bit more of a frequent feeding. Now, once the baby moves on to fuzzies and other sized feeders, you can start feeding once per week. But when you're on pinkies, it has to be every 4 to 5 days up until the animal is big enough to go a week without feeding. All right, so now for the third, and in my opinion, the biggest difference between baby and corn snake, between baby and adult corn snake care is the handling. Now, adult and mid-sized corn snakes, as you saw down there, like Cruz, I was handling him there before. He's pretty calm, you know. He knows I'm not out to get him. He's big enough to not feel afraid of everything. But that's a different story when they are babies. Now, we'll check out my corn snake, Tesla. We'll see how she's doing today. Again, she is a very tiny baby, so we don't want to scare her. So now that we're looking in her little enclosure, we're just going to peel this back, and you're going to see she's very, very tiny, very, very timid. I'm probably not going to handle her much, but here she is. As you can see, she's just really tense, really doesn't know what's going on because she's a very tiny baby. Now, if I was picking her up, I don't have my 2 hands, but if I was picking her up, I'd make sure my 2 hands are sort of cupped together to give her like a space to just relax. But at any moment, they are very fast. They can just whiz off. So make sure you either hold them over their enclosure or another tub, because you don't want them to drop on the floor and then escape into a crack or whatever, because you'll never see them again. For those of you that were asking about an update on Tesla, as you just saw, she's doing really good. For some reason, her red colors, I think she's going into shed very soon. Her red colors are very dull. But yeah, she's doing really well. I'm about to clean both of their enclosures here in a moment. So I just wanted to film this quick video on the differences between their care. Hope this video helped you out in some way. No matter what, if you have an adult or a baby, they're both really similar in care. They always grow up to be amazing pets and really calm and docile animals as long as you treat them properly. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I helped you out in some way. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.